Hi, so our lesson for this week will be about figures of speech. And as we all know, the purposes of figures of speech, these are the purposes or the importance, or why does the writer use figure of speech? Because, first of all, the writer wants to attract the reader. So, purpose, the purposes are first to attract the reader, second, to give deep meaning. I want the reader to think about the context that he has. If the context is a poem or if it's a narrative or anything, when I use any type of figure of speech, then the reader, has to analyze things and to show. I put points here because it depends on the content that we have. For example, if I say that her hair is black like the raven's feather, so here to show that her hair is black and glittering and beautiful. So this depends on, this depends on the idea that we have in front of us. Anyway, we'll see many examples together and I will explain more throughout the examples. So first of all, I want to talk about simile. Simile or direct comparison. It's direct comparison because as we see in the examples, we are using these tools, the tools of comparison. They can be as or like. Yani I can say pure as snow, quiet as a mouse or like a mouse, busy like a bee, cute as a kitten or cute like a kitten. Here, the writer is comparing two things together, or one thing and an animal, together, using the comparison tools, either as or like. Yani he can say, for example, my sister is as busy as a bee. So he's comparing a person to an animal to show that this girl is always busy. Now we'll see another example, but in a song, how similes can be used in songs. So here we go. It's Firework by Katy Perry. I don't know if you know it. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? So here she's comparing this person to a plastic bag using like. So it's direct comparison, so it's simile. Do you ever feel so paper thin like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? The same idea. She's comparing you, this person, to a house of cards using like. Here, of course, it's to give deep meaning, to attract the reader, and to show that this person is vulnerable. He is just like thin papers. He cannot take a decision, maybe. So he's just vulnerable. He cannot, whatever, take a decision. It depends on the song. Now we'll go to the other one, which is metaphor. Metaphor is indirect comparison. Indirect comparison, I cancel as or like from the simile, then I get metaphor. Yani instead of saying he is like the light of my life, I said he is the light of my life. Instead of saying she is as a ray of sunshine, I say she is a ray of sunshine. So we cancel the tools of comparison, so we get indirect comparison, or in other words, it's metaphor. Come on, we'll see an example, which is a song. Here we go. I'm already there. It's for Lone Star. So I'm already there. Take a look around. I'm the sunshine in your hair. I'm the shadow on the ground. I'm the whisper in the wind. I'm your imaginary friend. So here, all of them are indirect comparisons or metaphors. He's comparing himself one time to the sunshine, to the shadow, to the whisper, to the imaginary friend without using any of the comparison tools, so it's a metaphor. Okay? And maybe he wants to show this friend that he's always around her. Now, we'll go to the third one, which is the personification. Personification, we give non-living things, inanimate things, some personal qualities. For example, the snow speaks. Speaking is for people, it's a personal quality. We give it to inanimate thing, non-living thing, which is the snow. The leaves danced on the trees. Dancing, which is personal, we give it to inanimate thing, which is the leaves. Also, we see an example in a poem, in a song. Okay, here we have The Wind Cries Mary. You can hear happiness staggering on down the street, footprints dressed in red, and the wind whispers Mary. If you notice here, many personification examples. Happiness staggering on the streets. This is a personal quality. Footprints dressed. Dressing is for people. Whispering is for people. Okay, so maybe here he wants to show that all the people, sorry, all the things, all the word is revolving around this woman who is Mary. Now we'll go to another figure of speech. And hyperbole or exaggeration. For the millionth time, be quiet. I have not said be quiet 1 million times. No one will say be quiet 1 million times. I'm exaggerating, maximizing the effects of the action. Okay, for example, he's got a brain the size of a pea. Okay, he has. He's close-minded. He's not clever, but again, his brain is not the size of the pea. I'm exaggerating. Though these shoes are killing me, so I'm maximizing the effects of the action. Come on, we'll see a song with hyperbole. It's I'm Only Me by Taylor Swift. Friday night beneath the stars in a field behind your yard. You and I are painting pictures in the sky. Okay, so if you notice here, everything I need is right here by my side, and I know everything about you. I don't want to live without you. This is exaggeration. We can live without any person. So I'm exaggerating how much I love this person, how much I want him to be beside me. Okay? Now we'll move to another thing, which is the idiom or the idiomatic expressions. Okay, so we say something and we mean another thing. Time flies. Cat got your tongue. I don't mean that cat has come and got your tongue. I mean that you're not speaking. It's raining cats and dogs. So it's raining heavily. So that's the idiom or idiomatic expressions. Come on, we'll see a song. Here we go. Okay. Stronger by Kelly Clarkson. You think you got the best of me, think you've had the last laugh. Bet you think that everything good is gone. Think you left me broken down. Think that I'd come running back. Baby, you don't know me 'cause you're dead wrong. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stronger. Okay, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Okay? I will not be taller. I will be more maybe self-confident, more able to challenge any problem that faces me. Okay? So now the others are called figures of sound because they give certain rhythm to the text in which they are found. For example, onomatopoeia, you use the sound of the word as a word. For example, the glass crashes. It's the sound of the crash. Okay? Uh, the bees buzz. It's the sound of the bee. We're using the sound as a word. Also, we'll see it in a song, the most famous song, Old MacDonald. Old MacDonald's farm has many examples of onomatopoeia when we use quack quack instead of the sound of the dog, when we use oink oink instead of the sound of the pig, moo moo. These are onomatopoeia. Now, alliteration. Alliteration, we use several words beside each other, and all these words start with the same sound. Okay? في نحط the, I can put the in between them. I can put in, on between them. It's not a problem. So if you notice here, D, dreary, dismal darkness. Pretty purple purses. This is alliteration. Come on, we'll see it in a song. Let's go to the song. Here we go. The first time in forever. It's for Kristen Bell. I suddenly see him standing. SSS. This him, it's okay. It's a small word. So SSS. I want to stuff some chocolate in my face. So SS. Let's see if there's something more. Come in for the first time in forever. So this is alliteration. Okay. Now we have another example, another figure. Okay, so we have oxymoron. Oxymoron is using contradictory or opposite terms together, opposite words together. Mainly Shakespeare used to use oxymoron. Bittersweet, pretty ugly, seriously funny, okay, deafening silence, living dead. So this is oxymoron. And I want to show that maybe I'm annoyed from this thing. So when I say deafening silence, okay, it's silent, but it's deafening me. I want someone to talk because this silence maybe has let me overthink. So I feel deafened by the silence. Okay? And the last one, it's paradox. The difference between paradox and oxymoron. Oxymoron, let me go back there. Oxymoron, we use two words, two contradictory words. But if we go here, this example, let me make it bigger. This is paradox. Paradox are two opposite ideas. This is from Romeo and Juliet. This love feel I, that feel no love in this. You know that Romeo and Juliet were in love, but their families were enemies to each other. So this love feel I, that feel no love in this. So this is oxymoron. I feel love towards you. On Romeo, I think was telling Juliet. I feel love toward I love you, but we cannot love each other. So this is paradox. Okay? Now, what we're going to do here, we'll see some examples. I want you to pause the video at each example, to read the example, to decide which type of figure of speech is found there, is used there, and to, here we go. You mention the type, you explain why, and you give its importance. Okay? So let's go back here. This is the first example. So you take like 2 minutes to answer it, and then we go to the second one. Okay. This is number 2. This is number 3. Okay. Let me check something. So we said 1. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you have the options 14 and that.